for the audience when they see that is, first, I know who you are, I follow you, but for people that don't and are maybe just randomly getting on this, who are you and what's your story?
So my name is Daniel Alonzo. Look, I was a punk kid
Hmm.
that at 21 years old got into business and became, you know, decently successful in financial services. I look at where I came from to where I'm at today. It's been a dramatic transformation. I mean, before me going into business, I was never a very good student, never graduated college. I was I'm still a slow reader. I never, I got in fights growing up, did a lot of, bad things. Thank God, and never got caught, early on in my life. And I think that saved me from a lot of, possibilities in the future. I mean, I never thought I'd live past 30. I mean, I was kind of crazy, when I was young. And but I got into business. I ended up meeting some really, really successful people, and it changed my life forever, man. I never looked back. Went into business at 21, got financially independent by the time I was 28 years old, and the rest is history.
So when you went into business, were you still in college at that time? Did you leave college? What happened there?
So what happened was I was on that college track. So not that I wanted to be. Matter of fact, you know what? Let me back up a little bit. When I was just out of high school, I actually did not go to college right away. I was going to be a cartoonist, believe it or not. So I love to draw, and I had my own copyrighted cartoon characters. So I had an actual cartoon strip that I was trying to get published in a newspaper or some sort of publication. But I really didn't have a whole lot of direction. I had no mentors in that space. It was before the internet, kind of. So for me, it wasn't like I could just look somebody up or YouTube video or anything like that. I mean, I read as many books as I could, but still, it just was not, a good mentorship program. And of course I knew no cartoonist to speak of, nobody in my family, my parents, no connections, nothing. And so I got turned down by like 50 different publishers, and I just said, you know what, this is probably not up my alley. I said, I need to start, figuring out what I want to do with my life. I probably wasted a good year or two doing that. And then I said, I'm going back to college. So I went back to college, and I went back to play baseball. I was a baseball player all my life. So I figured, you know what, I'm going to go to college, I'm going to play baseball and enjoy my time there, because I didn't really want to be in college. So I said, the only way I'm going to college is if I can play baseball. So I went to college, played baseball. My first semester, I was in officiating basketball class. That's the kind of, insanely difficult classes that somebody like me was going to take at that age. Officiating basketball
Wow.
class. And I went up. So all we did really the whole day is we played basketball. That was just, we played. So I went up for a layup, came back down, crunched my knee really bad. My baseball career was done. Finished out the season, kind of hobbled around, but I was done. Came back home. I was a loser, man. I was a complete wasted life, man. I mean, I drank too much, partied too much, hung out with the wrong people, like just incredibly wrong people. And I remember one night, just feeling so guilty. I was probably drinking too much, smoking some things that probably shouldn't have been smoking. And I remember feeling so guilty, because I'm thinking in my mind, like, what a loser you are, man. What a wasted life you're living. Like, you had something good inside of you. You always wanted to be somebody. You always wanted to do something great with your life, but you're wasting your life away. And I'm not even kidding. Probably within the next, few days or weeks, I got a call from a friend that said, hey, man, you need to come into business with me. And I still was kind of stubborn about it. For like 4 months, this guy was telling me, hey, check this business out, check this business out. And I was kind of an ass. And And then finally, I just, just to shut him up, I said, I'm going to go check it out. And I went down to this meeting, watched this guy give this presentation about how you can make a lot of money in financial services. And I said, all right, I'll do it, man. I tried it, and I never looked back.
Okay, and so I know you. That's a great story, number one. But number two, I know you specifically. I followed your story. I know how successful you've been within the financial services. But at that time, at your age, putting yourself at 21, 22 years old, when you started, was there ever a point like, hey, I'm gonna quit, or this is getting tough. I don't know if this is for me. The self doubt, did that come at any point?
You know, I swear I wish I had a better story for you. I always tell people that my story is kind of boring in a way,
Mhm.
in the sense of how I made it in business. Because, and again, I'm not saying I never had any struggles or never had any challenges, but I never thought quit, man. I mean, when I put my head down and I decided I was going to do this, look, I didn't have a fucking choice, man. I mean, this was it, man. I was going to either make it or I was going to break it. I mean, there was no way I'm going back to college. Hated class, hated writing papers, hated doing all that shit. If you ever notice, you look at my Instagram posts, I'm not the blogger type. There's some people that blog like, 20 paragraphs because they love to write.
Yeah.
I'm not that guy, right? I like to give you some video and then, give you a couple of words and then, hopefully you watch it. But I mean, seriously, right? I am that guy that I said, there's no turning back. I saw the vision. I knew that financial services would never go out of business. I knew that people would always need investments, they would always need insurances. So I said, where am I going to go? So I hooked up with some really good mentors and I learned how to sell my ass off, right? I learned how to become a closer. I learned how to ask good questions. I learned how to get people to my way of thinking. I learned how to become an influencer. And from that day on, my income, again, my first year didn't do that great. I only made 15 grand my first year, and I really worked hard, and I made almost no money. And but let's be honest here, right? I was 21, and in my job that I was working at, I was only making about 15 grand a year. So I kind of matched my job and kind of doubled my income that year.
Right.
But the next year, I started making a little bit more. Within a couple of years, I was making 100,000. I went from 100 to 170 to 170 to 250, 250 to 350. These are consecutive years, by the way. 350, then almost $500,000. And so I woke up. I was 28, saved my money like it was. I mean, I lived below my means. I saved my money. I drove a $10,000 Maxima when I was making $300,000 a year. Like I was scared to lose everything, right? I didn't want, like, I saved because I wanted to become financially independent. I was not interested in trying to look good. I was interested in being free.
Hmm.
I wanted to get my family free. And I figured, man, once I got my family free, yeah, we can go buy the nice cars, we could buy the nice house, we could do whatever hell we want to do. And that's what I've been doing since I was 28. I'm 45 now. That's what, 17 years ago, right? I've been for 17 years. I have been, uh, just call it semi-retired, just about. Now I am kind of revving it up right now, going for another 5-year run. But the truth is, man, I mean, it's financial independence is way better than having a nice car, man.
Yeah. And I love what you said there about living below your means and not looking to impress anyone at the start, because my age group, so I work with a lot of college kids still at my school and different colleges in Chicago. And, a lot of these people, they'll go into the Goldman Sachs right after, right? They'll get the $100,000 job, but the first thing they'll do is they'll grab a Tesla, a BMW, Mercedes, not an asset that's depreciating in value, not actually helping them in any way to build that residual income that you're always talking about, which I'm striving for. So it's to hear you say that is refreshing, because my generation, unfortunately, the millennials and the Z's, we're so worried, and you're on Instagram, you see it all the time. We're so worried about impressing others with what we have and not really building a financially free future, so to speak, for our families. So
Totally, man. I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm with you.
So you had that story. You built your business. The college wasn't for you, but I also know you know, you have kids as well. What do you say to your kids about college?
Well, my son just graduated high school, like literally this week, his
Yeah.
graduation. So I have an 18-year-old, and ever since they were young,
Mhm.
I've always instilled to them that it's better to be an entrepreneur. I mean, we religiously watch the Shark Tank together as a family. I mean, like that's kind of family we are. Like
Mhm.
we talk about business, we talk about money, we talk about like I would, for whatever reason, I would have to take out cash from the bank for whatever reason. I'd give them the stack of cash and I tell them to count it for me because I just want them to touch the bills. I want them to see money. I want them to know that money is okay and it's not a bad thing. People try to make money as out to be a bad thing when money is a great thing. It allows so many wonderful things to happen. I mean, I go to a lot of charities and I give a lot of money away throughout the years. And the truth is, they're always asking for more money. I mean, when I go to church, there's one thing that they're always asking for. No matter when I go, they're always asking for money. And so I just kind of figured that, man, money's, if the church is asking for it, if charities are asking for it, probably an important thing. And by the way you're going to make a major impact on the world is by having more money. And so we talk entrepreneurship. Now, if my daughter, right, if my son wants to become a doctor, then they have to go to college. Right? If they want to be an engineer, they have to go to college. There's no two ways about it. But other than that, I think college is the biggest scam on earth. Okay, it's the biggest scam because the cost of college rises at a rate of 7% a year, and on top of that, they sell you $100 books that they made for $20. I mean, they're scamming the system. Matter of fact, they're scamming the government because the government gives them so much money to run those colleges. So the profit margins, on top of the fact that we as a society are paying for most of those colleges and the money that are running these colleges, it is an absolute scam. And so I am so against college, I can't even tell you. If both of my kids don't go to college, I'll be the happiest parent in the world. All right, because if you look at people that are successful, the most successful people that I know, they're business owners, dude.
Mhm.
Right? I mean, these are people that own companies. And by the way, the most successful, happy, fulfilled people that I know are the people that own companies and businesses because they have freedom. Right? I've been able to get up for the last 17 years, do whatever I want to do whenever I want to do it. Right? I got freedom, I got choices, I got options. And then the ability, right? If I go to college and I go try to make some money at a job, well, now they own me. Now they're like this is why 30 million people are out of work right now
Mhm.
because of the pandemic. So they're out of work, but yet me, I control my own day. I get to get up. If I want to go make more money, I go make more money. I go sell my product. Right? Well, if you're just an employee, you work for somebody else, you have no control, man. To me, it's called the corporate nightmare. It's a nightmare to me, man, having to clock in, listen to somebody else. And by the way, imagine, Samir, imagine waiting for somebody to die so you can get a promotion. That would be like madness to me. That would be the most insane feeling that you would ever have, knowing that you cannot move up, man. You're like, I'm better than that guy. I work harder than that guy. I get up earlier. I show up earlier. I stay later. I'm more talented than that guy. But you can't move past that guy because that guy owns that position. And you're nothing, man. You got nothing. And so I don't know if that's what you wanted to hear, but that's the way I feel.
No, that was a very powerful answer. I had to take it in too because what so much of what you said resonated to me. But I grew up also in a family of doctors where it's like study, study,
Yeah.
study.
Oh, yeah. I believe it.
Because they show you, that kind of transitions into what I was going to ask you next. Because thank you, that was a great answer, and I think a lot of college kids will need to hear that. So that transitions into my next question. So almost as of May 8th, 2020, 15% unemployed. the unemployment rate, sorry, 15% unemployment rate, and then 36 million jobless claims of people. On top of it, we have millions who just graduated college, didn't get to do their commencement. What do you have to say to those graduating seniors now in this type of environment? Companies are going bankrupt. There's so much uncertainty. What do you have to say to those seniors that just graduated, have this debt? What do they do in that situation, in your opinion?
Well, first of all, you need to figure out, like, if you have a lot of student debt and now you're graduated and now you got to start paying that stuff back, I would, number one, I would figure out a game plan how you can pay as little of that as possible. Okay. Because eventually they're going to take it out of your Social Security anyways. That's number one. Number two, as long as you're making an effort to make a payment, they won't come after you. All right. So now they might tell you got to pay $800 a month on that student loan. I would say pay 25 bucks a month, right? Pay 10 bucks a month, something. So that way you keep, any sort of, they keep them off your back, but because you can pay whatever you want. That's the way that the rules are, as long as you're making an effort. Now, with that said, I didn't really mean to get into that subject, but what I would say to any college graduate that's graduating right now is don't look for a job, look for a business. And when you look at that business, I want you to look at a couple of things that I want you to make sure, like, that this business, whatever business you choose, the business has some of these attributes. Okay. Number one is education. Is the business model going to educate you on how to be successful? Is there a duplicatable process within that business? Number two, is that business going to be able to educate you also on how to limit your taxes? You see, your taxes are your biggest expense. Okay, so you want to limit the amount of taxes that you pay, because look, at the end of the day, it's what you keep. It's not what you make, man. I know a lot of people that make more money than me, but I got way more money than them. Okay, because I've been able to keep most of my money. Matter of fact, my business, I profit. My profit is in the range, I want to say 87%. I mean, it is now after all said and done, that's maybe not what it looks like on all the, paperwork, but that's what I would guesstimate that it really could be. And because again, there's just, my business allows me to take so many write-offs. I mean, I have, contests, I have dinners, I have travel, I have, office supplies, I have a building, I have a secretary, I have, I have so many write-offs. It's unbelievable. And then the other thing that you want to make sure your business allows you to have is unlimited money-making potential. So if you don't want to be in a model that says, okay, well, when you tap out on that market, there's not much more you can go. Or like, for example, like if I'm going to be like, okay, I'll give you this thought. Okay. I don't want to be a hairstylist. And the reason why, even though I'm kind of my own 1099 business owner, I go and I cut hair every day. I don't want to be a hairstylist, because if I'm a hairstylist and I break my arm, I can't go to work. Now, as we found out, if you're a hairstylist and we have a pandemic, you can't work. Nobody will let you get near them, right? So I don't want to be in a business that's affected by the economy. I want unlimited income potential, which means I want to be able to recruit as many people as I want to recruit. I want to be able to train as many people as I want to train. I want to offer opportunity to as many people that need opportunity. I want it to be unlimited amounts of people that I can do business with. Okay. And by the way, I want to make sure that my market is unlimited. Like, for example, I do insurances and investments, right? When the pandemic came, we're selling more insurance than ever before, right? Because people are scared, they want life insurance, things like that. But also think about the stock market, right? The stock market goes down. What do people like to do when the stock market goes down? They like to buy it on sale. So our investment business is through the roof right now. So again, look at the business closely. Is it pandemic proof? Is it economy driven or not? Like I don't want a business that's going to be out of style 10 years from now. I want a business that I know because insurance has been around for 100 years, it'll be around for another 100 years. There's no question about it. So pick the business wisely. The other thing is, and I kind of alluded to it, but you want to make sure that the business allows you to make massive passive income. And the way you do that is through duplication, through investment. Like, for example, my investment business pays me trails. So I get paid over and over and over again on the assets under management that we build. We have several $100 million under management right now. So that just continues to pay me because people are still going to want to save for the retirement. They're still going to want to save for their college education. They're still going to want to save for all types of different things. And I make money every single time they invest. And as those assets grow, I also make more money as well. And then obviously me recruiting and training and developing people is a huge benefit, right? Because think about it. I have 47 locations. I have 1,500 licensed agents, which means that whether I work a day in my life again, I will still get paid a tremendous amount of money because every one of those people will work harder for themselves than they ever will work for me. I mean, I literally have a guy right now in my business. He's about maybe 30 minutes away from me. We haven't spoken 5 years probably, right? We haven't even had a conversation in 5 years. And I earn about $20,000 to $25,000 a month on his business.
Wow.
From him and his business. That's what so it's just duplication, right? He's on his own. He wants to run his own business. He's got his own game plan. He's got it, right? That's great. It's great for him because he's got unlimited opportunity. He could do the same thing I did, but it's great for me because I can focus on building my life and doing what I want to do. And he could focus on whatever he wants to do, but we both win. Does that make sense?
It makes sense. Yeah. And just to be clear with the audience, number one, even though you are making that passive income, I see how you work. You work like you're not making passive income. You work so hard still.
Oh yeah, man. Absolutely. And that's what a lot of people ask me. They go, Daniel, man, why are you working so hard right now when you're financially independent many, 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 many times over? And I say, because look, this is so much fun right now. I am having the time of my life, man. I love doing stuff like this. I love sharing. I love teaching. I love coaching. I love training. And guess what? Every time I teach another person and I train another person, that is more passive income. Like for example, like people want to go into real estate. Nothing wrong with real estate. You can make a lot of money in real estate. You can become very, very successful in real estate. This is the issue. Number one, it's economy driven. So when the next real estate crash comes, there's going to be real estate agents. It's going to be carnage on the streets, just like it was in 2008, 2009. People are going to be wiped out, right? A lot of people are going to be wiped out. A lot of people are going to be wiped out in their investments that they're making right now. Like I can't imagine going into real estate market right now, unless there's seriously good deals. I wouldn't buy real estate right now because the thing could potentially get wiped out. Okay. And so the point I'm trying to make is that there are businesses that could hugely be impacted by the economy. And I just don't want to be a part of that. I want to be a part of something that's long range, going to go no matter what. And back to kind of what we were talking about is that I'm just having a time of my life right now, man. I'm just having so much dang fun right now. And because we can make a difference, we can really change somebody's life forever.
Yeah. And I think it's so awesome to see that you're having fun, you're enjoying it, because so many of these college kids that I talk to that do graduate and, they work for those big firms, a lot of them don't have a happy face. They're not happy every day coming home, working 100 hours a week for somebody else.
What I was going to say, I lost a thought there, but what I was going to say is that like I was going to equate it kind of to real estate. Like think about it. Every time I train a new guy, like if you buy real estate and you buy a house, right? On average, from that house, you're going to make about $400 in profit. Okay, from each house that you own, like single family home, right? Well, could you imagine, right? I have unlimited. So first of all, if I recruit you in my business and I teach you how to make $1,000 a month of income for you, every $1,000 a month of income you make, I make about 500 bucks.
Yeah.
Give or take, right? So now, so to get that $500, $400, whatever, right? I got to actually put down a down payment. I got to find a rentor. I got to upkeep the house. I got all of that maintenance. I got all of that headache, everything, versus I'll just recruit one of you for the same thing. Now, I might have to recruit 10 of you to find one, right? That's okay. But could you imagine? I mean, there's no way. I mean, that is unlimited income for the rest of my life. I will earn income on your profit that you make in your business. And some people become way more successful, and I make, tens of thousands of dollars from those people. So it just depends on kind of where they're at.
Sure. That makes sense. Yeah. No, I mean, that's amazing to hear. And so on my next question, within that, you have over 1,500 agents now, but I'm sure you've recruited way more than that. So
Oh yeah, absolutely.
yeah. And my thing is, I'm looking, I talk to so many college grads and a lot of them that follow me. What's the common trait that you find in the ones that, a couple of weeks with you, Daniel, hey, I quit, I give up, or, I can't do this, or, hey, Daniel, I need to go get my MBA, the education trap. What, this is too much for me. I don't want to do it. I don't want to talk to people. What do you say? What's the trait you find, and what do you say to those type of people?
Well, look, I mean, first of all, there are wimpy people in this world and there's tough people in this world, man. And so to me, some people just have it or they don't. Now I can teach how to have it, but you still got to be willing to put in the effort and to put in the work. And I think that, like, look, I'm finding this even right now, man, because I'm recruiting a lot of people right now. Even me personally, I am recruiting people right now. And I am witnessing so much bad behavior. It's unbelievable. Like, I mean, people don't text back. They don't call back. They don't do what they say they're going to do. They're just like, are you kidding me? Like, you have no job. You're broke right now. You're not working. You're making bad choices too. Like, there's something wrong with you. Like literally now, come on, let's be honest, right? Some of these people I'm recruiting, they're 40, 50 years old, some of them. And so they got wiped out, and now they're 40, 50. They don't want to start at the bottom. They don't want to start. So they would rather starve than to start at the bottom. Because if they come to work with me, they got to start at the bottom. They got to go through the trenches. They got to do the things that I did. They got to have maybe a year where they only made 15 or 20 grand or something like that, right? I mean, now it doesn't mean they have to do that, but as they're learning a new skill, it's not, I mean, come on, let's think about it for a second. If you go get your MBA, you might increase your income by 10 grand, even if your job is still available, right? The MBA is going to pay you another 10 grand. Well, how about that MBA? If you put in all of that effort, all of that work, what's it going to take you? A year? Is it going to take you 2 years in some case, depending on what the schooling is? Well, how much do you get paid when you go to college? How much money do they pay you to live while you're going to college? What's the answer to that? Zero. Matter of fact, you're paying them to go to college. A lot of money, by the way, okay? And it's not just monetary value. It's time value of money. Think about it, right? I mean, when you go to college, you can't work. When you're in class, you can't work. When you're driving around 45 times trying to find an effing parking space, okay, you're not working. You're not building anything. You're not growing anything. You're not advancing your career when you're going to college. So you're kind of, it's kind of like your life is on hold for that piece of paper. Well, don't you forget that you're losing money that whole time. So factor that back into the whole scenario at the end of the day. because that's a really important number to say, okay, so if I went to school for 4 years and I lost $30,000 every year, plus I had to pay $30,000 a year, so that's $240,000 if my math is right. Okay, if you put two of those things together, right, 120 and 120, so 240,000 of lost income, of lost money, of lost value is gone. So now when you start at your job at 100,000, it takes you 2.5 years just to make up what you lost. So don't think, oh man, I'm going into a job and I'm making 100 grand now, man. Oh wow, I'm at a profit, and look at you. You only made 15 grand last year at your little business, Daniel.
Yeah.
Come on, wait a minute. You lost $240,000. You lost 100 grand. You lost 250. You lost 75,000. Hey, I lost nothing. Matter of fact, I made 15. So who's really better off?
Yeah.
And then for me, I just looked at it, man, if I put my pedal to the metal for the next, 4 or 5 years, because I always looked at it, because I didn't graduate college. So I always looked at it like, if I spent the next 4 or 5 years and I made no money, like I literally thought in my mind, if I made no money, I'm still in the same boat as all those other people, and actually a better boat, because I'm not having to pay for college every year. So I'm in a better situation than those people 4 or 5 years from now. And I know 4 or 5 years from now, if I'm dedicating myself and learning my craft and getting better, there should be no reason why I couldn't make a decent living, 50, 60, $100,000 a year doing what I'm doing, if I'm actually applying myself for those 4 or 5 years. And again, I had that attitude, and I woke up 4 or 5 years later and I was making $250,000 a year.
Yeah.
Or whatever the number was,
Right. And I think the important point, like you mentioned earlier about the tax, if you work for a W-2, your tax is you're going to be penalized much more than.
Oh my God. It's like, it's insane. I mean, that is a full hour of conversation, because that's serious business, man. I mean, I've saved countless hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of dollars in taxes throughout my 24 years being in business, because I understand the tax system. I understand business. I understand what it is to be an independent contractor. And so, man, you get that part right, because a lot of people, they'll brag. They'll say, oh, I'm making $100,000 a year. And I go, hey, man, that's great. But how much do you keep? And they're like, well, like 60. And I say, well, and then also count all those suits that you have to buy too. At $2 grand a pop, you got 10 of those. That's another, $20,000 in suits that you have going into work every day. So come on, let's, and then not to mention you're out having to eat out every day, and you're getting coffee every day. And come on, that's another $10,000 a year. So how much are you really making? What would you make? 40 grand? What do you keep? How much do you have saved? Nothing. What are you talking about? You made $100,000 a year. That's $8,000 a month, and you didn't even save any money.
Yeah.
Something wrong with that, right?
And what scares me about what you're saying is, you look at these people that were waiting for those stimulus checks. That was such a big thing, and it's
crazy.
I always put myself in a situation where I need to work so hard, where I don't want to depend on government's money, anyone's money. I want to depend on myself.
Never.
Just like what you're doing.
That's it. Never wanted anybody to have their thumb on me, man. Never, ever, ever. I can control my destiny. I can do what I need to do. Look, I'll work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to provide for my family. There's nothing that, as long as it's legal, ethical, and moral, there's nothing that I won't do. There's nowhere that I won't go. I'll make it happen. I'll figure out a way every single time. Yeah. And if you have that kind of attitude, come on, man, who's going to stop you? Who's going to stop somebody with an attitude like that? So guess what? Right? Instead of whining, complaining, talking about how the government didn't do this or that for you, suck it up, right? Seriously, get to work, focus, get a mentor, get a coach, find somebody that's going to pull you up with them. And that's what I did. I found a mentor, man. I said, hey, look, I told the guy, I said, look, don't bullshit me. Okay. I am willing to roll up my sleeves and get dirty, to do whatever I need to do, because I want to be successful. I do not want to live an average and ordinary life. I want to live a great life. I want to have fun. I want to travel the world. I want to give great things to my family. I want to, be able to provide for my kids. And I want to, drive nice cars and live in a safe neighborhood. I want to, with an armed guard out in the coming in the neighborhood. I mean, how safe do you feel, with that kind of stuff, right? And I wanted security. I wanted like financial independence. So that way, nobody could like I was 28, I had $1 million saved. So I mean, I know that, that's not a lot. Maybe some people, oh, I want tens of millions. No, that's fine. Let's start with the million first, and then you can work your way up, right?
Yeah.
I mean, but I was excited about 100,000 because I knew I could get a 10% return, right? I know myself. I know I can invest and at least get a 10% return. That's $100,000 a year without getting out of bed. See, with your job, you got to keep working for that 100,000. With my business, I can build a business and then invest and save and get educated about all that stuff. So that way, $1 million invested at 10%, I got the $100,000 a year forever for the rest of my life without getting out of bed.
Passive.
Passive income. That's it, man. I got passive income in investments. I got passive income in properties. I got passive income in my business. Think about it, right? 1,500 agents. Somebody's going to write a sale today. Somebody's going to recruit somebody today. Somebody's going to build their business today. Somebody's going to get excited today. And every time they do, they get paid a lot of money and I get paid a little bit. But out of all those people, that little bit adds up to a lot of bit.
Multiplies, yeah.
That's it, man. That's it.
Well, Daniel, first, thank you so much. And I know you got to get going because you have a call coming up here. But where can people find you on social media and hear your awesome story and your motivational speaking?
Well, look, man, I am seriously like engaged right now more than I've been engaged in as long as I could remember. I have worked harder in this last 4 months than I've worked in, a decade. Okay. I am really, really focused on finding, like, not trying to convince anybody. I don't want to convince anybody that what I'm doing is right. Okay. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to find that person that sees my life and says, I want a little taste of that. Right. I'm looking for that person that's already motivated. They already have, ambition and discipline and good habits, and they want to do something great. I'm looking for those people that are looking for me, and I want them in my business. That's what I'm looking for more than anything. Is I want to take them under my wing. I want to teach them all the good things that I did, all the bad things that I did, so they don't have to make the same mistake twice. I think I can teach somebody how to win and get to where I'm at in way less time than what it took me. I had to learn a lot of the stuff on my own. So again, I mean, I'm on Instagram, man. I'm Daniel Alonzo, ZO at the end. I'm drinking a coconut on Instagram, so that's how you'll know me, because I'm a little loco sometimes, right? But yeah, no, I mean, I'm on Instagram. I have a YouTube channel, man. Lots of great content. My podcast. I have a podcast, Wealth on the Beach podcast, man. People need to check that out. Matter of fact, I just got just popped on today as Brad Lee today. With our interview today. So, I mean, there's so many good things that I'm doing right now. There's so much coaching. There's so much. I'm doing Zooms all week long with my teams. I am working very hard because this time with 36 million people filed for unemployment, people need me more than ever. And I am going to be there for those people that need me. I'm going to be there for those people right now.
Wow. That was really powerful. Thank you. That's Daniel Alonzo, and I really appreciate you getting on with me today and helping inspire the generation with the new college grads. And hopefully we could stay in touch. And, they say at the end of the day, your network is your net worth.
That's it. Samir, you're a stud, man. You're a champion. I believe in you, man. Don't stop. Don't let up. Keep believing. And one day you're going to be one of the most successful people in the world. And I hope you remember me as one of the little people over here, right? Hopefully you remember me a little bit. So, hey, man, best to you. Okay, dream bigger. Make sure you do it now.
That is so sweet of you. Thank you so much, and we'll stay in touch. I really appreciate it. All right.